Hello, guys, and welcome to another installation in the series that is the Twin Flame Journey. I will be your host. My name is Sarah, and this is formerly Divine Truth Tarot, now Lunar Goddess Tarot. Welcome in. Have a seat, have a cup of joe or a cup of tea. We're going to clear the space here, and we're going to bring in a little bit of lightheartedness because the energies are cray. The energies are crazy intense right now. So I wanted to just do a little cleansing and clearing. I'm just going to sweep and cleanse and clear my camera here and also myself and my space. Now, this is the first reading of the day, so the energies are nice and clear. But guys, holy bonkers, the energies have been so heavy. Like, it's hard for me to get out of bed right now. It's very hard for me to do daily tasks. So I want to talk about something before we get into the cards. The Divine Masculine is in a deep state of depression right now. They are in their egos and they're experiencing, or rather resisting, the ego death that needs to happen. So if you're one of those feminines who has turned their back on their masculine, in the sense, not that you're turning your back out of ego, but you're turning your back so that you can turn your back, so that you can turn your face, what the hell am I trying to say? If you're one of the feminines who has walked away from your masculine because you're putting yourself first and you're putting your energy into inner union, into your life, into making these changes for you, you're probably going to be feeling this the most. If you're still in communication with your masculine, or you're in some sort of reunion or union energy, or married to your masculine, you will be feeling this and you will be experiencing this, but probably not as intensely as those who are in separation. The reason being is your masculine does not know how to handle these energies. You have walked away. You have, in their eyes, you have turned your back on them, even though it's totally warranted, even though their actions or their words told you to do the exact thing that you're doing now, and even though you're following your inner guidance and you're not doing this out of ego. Now, if you're doing this out of ego, that's a totally different story. You may not be in a twin flame journey. This may be a karmic relationship or a soulmate journey, but those of us who have lovingly turned our backs on the masculine, so the masculine could learn the lessons that they needed to learn and could go through this ego death, and so that we could really rapidly bring ourselves into inner union, and then they can bring themselves into inner union. I hope I'm making sense here, because I sort of feel like I'm all over the place right now, which is why I'm not doing as many readings, you'll notice. But the Scorpio full moon has done a doozy on the collective, and in particular the Divine Masculine. So I just wanted to say that those of you who are in some sort of separation, who is a feminine who is choosing to be silent and choosing to allow the masculine to go through this, just like you've gone through this on your own in the past, the masculine energy is struggling, okay? The masculine energy within us, the masculine energy in the physical external world, the physical manifestation, your counterpart, as you would call them, they are struggling. And they're going to try to appear. Okay, the ego is like, no, I'm not going to die. I can't. I matter. I'm important. So the masculine's ego is really flared up right now. So a lot of them have pushed the feminine away. And also they're doing that from their higher self out of protection. So it may look like it's an egoic move, but it's also out of protection. So the masculine who's moved away, the feminine who has moved away, there's been a vacuum that's created, a space that's been created. Anything is possible in this place. But first, this darkness needs to be dealt with. So I want to delve into the energies here. I'm actually going to bring in an oracle that I don't use that often, the Quantum Oracle. And we're going to go ahead and call in the archangels of the highest order. Archangel Michael, please come in to just wipe the slate clean here, create a sphere of loving golden white protection for this reading, for anyone watching and for myself as well. And you can bring in your legion, your army, any other archangels who wish to be present. Archangel Raphael, of course, the angel of romance and love. Archangel Metatron, divine timing and karma. Archangel Jophiel, the angel of beauty. And Archangel Raguel wants to be present as well. So any other archangels who wish to be present, and my guides, and also my higher self. And please allow me to be a pure vessel of divine truth and justice, compassion, empathy, and clarity. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, aho. So let's find out what is going on. What are the overarching energies here? The overarching energy. So interesting, because at the core of everything that's going on right now, we have kindred partnership. We have the union energy. So there is not, if I'm not mistaken, there is not a soulmate card in this deck. This would be the soulmate card. There's something, give me a second, guys. Bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, so there's peace that wants to come into these connections. Guys, if you bear with me for 1 second, there is a deck that just came to mind that wants to be used. And I thought it was this deck, but there's another deck. I don't use it regularly. So if you can bear with me for 1 second. I don't even know where this deck is. We're going to find out. Aha! Don't mind me. I'll deal with that later. My cards currently live out of a giant bag because I don't have a shelf available for them right now, so that's awesome. Makes it a little challenging. All right, so okay, a little sip of tea there. Okay, so yeah, peace wants to be brought into these connections first and foremost. So that's what this phase of the journey is all about. Now, even though it may look like the exact opposite is happening, these are the underlying currents, the underlying flowing energy that's really flowing and moving through the partnerships right now, the connections. And I know it doesn't look like this or feel like this because trust me, I'm in it with you guys. I am exhausted. I am like, I could sleep all day. Exhausted, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted, depleted. So I get it. I fully understand, but I'm also pushed to do readings. So sometimes like all I want to do is nothing right now, but I'm pushed to do these readings to communicate what needs to come through. So here I am. Okay. So this is the wisdom of the Oracle deck. All right, Spirit, tell me about the masculine energy right now and tell me about this depression that they're in, the masculine energy, this darkness, this depression. Okay. Unfinished symphony. Okay. This is pretty clear messages. So the partnership, the union is on their mind. They are finding their way. It's sort of like they're working their way through a maze and they're finding their way back to union. I want to make this very clear because a lot of feminines feel like it's over. A lot of feminines have quote unquote walked away or are trying to walk away or are trying to move on with a soulmate. There is nothing wrong with any of these choices. This is your free will and your choice. But you will find that as you try to quote unquote move on, you cannot release or cut the ties with your counterpart. This is not like a soulmate connection or a karmic connection. Those ties will grow stronger. So the more we resist, the more they grow stronger. That's why surrendering is so vital on this journey. So the masculine energy is realizing this isn't over. Okay, the feminine has been in this energy of it's over. And the masculine is, of course, the mirror, the opposite energy saying, but it's not over. And what they're realizing, 10 reduces to 1. So they're realizing you two are one soul and you're having these different experiences in these two different bodies, but that you are connected through time and space. And they're also realizing they cannot escape this partnership, that they cannot escape this journey. And all they want is peace at this time. Like that's all they're searching for in their hearts. But they're going to have to really drop their egos and come out of that ego state if they want peace and if they want this kindred partnership. They're going to have to fight for it, honestly. The feminine energy has been fighting for this for a long time. And she's now basically, I see the feminine collective sort of lovingly turning their gaze away from the masculines, turning their gaze within and focusing on their life and everything that's beautiful and ripe in their life. And I do see the feminine as the feminine does this, the masculine is really noticing the beauty of this connection. So this is actually opening up the masculine's heart and eyes by the feminine really choosing herself. And you see this, I mean, the feminine, this is love though. She's choosing herself, but with love. She's not choosing herself out of ego. She's doing this out of love and saying, I have to turn my back now. You have to understand. You have to come to your own conclusions about what we are and what this is. And I need you to come to me. See, she has a number 2. So she's kind of in this energy. She might be in this energy of separation or duality right now, but the masculine is in this energy of oneness. So this is really fascinating. But the feminine's finding peace in the separation, which is important for her journey. And the masculine is finding clarity about the connection, which is very important for his journey. So both counterparts are really working on finding their place in this journey. What does this mean? And the masculine realizes this is never actually over. So when the masculine energy has tried to push the feminine away, tried to tell her that it's over, tried to tell her, there's better out there for you, you deserve better, I can't give that to you. The masculine thinks they're doing the feminine a favor, and they think that they're doing the quote unquote right thing. And what they're finding out now is that the more they've resisted this connection, the more they have pushed the feminine away, the more the feminine is at the forefront of their mind. And the more that they realize, I cannot escape this love, I cannot escape this yearning, this longing, and this memory of this person. I want to share something that happened the last time I connected with my masculine via video call, which was about 3 months ago, which is crazy to think it's already been 3 months. And it was really like smack dab on the anniversary of the day that we had separated. And I don't know if he did that on purpose or his higher self did that and orchestrated that, but I happen to think that there was a higher self orchestration there. So it was about a year since we'd last spoken on the phone or had any significant contact after I had walked away and set down the boundaries. So during that time, lots of changes happened in his life, positive changes, the changes that I needed to happen. To clear away a lot of the obstacles between us. And my masculine looked at me at the end of the call and said, you look like what can I do for you? Because he'd realized, there was a realization of everything I'd done for him and the support that I'd given him, the unconditional love. And he wanted to return that, but he wasn't quite ready or prepared for what that meant. And so I never actually answered that question. I said, I don't know how to answer that. You sort of took me by surprise, and I wasn't expecting that after all this time. And he said, well, think about it and let me know. And then there was further communication after that led to another mini separation here. Okay, but what my masculine said is he looked at me and said, you look like you could use a hug. And when I talked to my other dear divine feminine friends, they said, that was him projecting because he actually needed the hug, but he was saying to you, you look like you need the hug. It's actually him that needed the hug. And I had this aha moment and said, you're so right. He was looking at me with longing and wanting to embrace me, wanting to hug me, wanting to touch me, wanting to love me, wanting to, to be with me. And it was him. It's like he couldn't express that. He couldn't just say, I need a hug from you, I miss you. So instead it was, you look like you need a hug. You're loved and you're missed and you're thought of. So the masculines are not always direct with how they're feeling. And in fact, they're oftentimes not direct at all. They're very indirect, and we have to sort of read between the lines. And it's kind of exhausting, right, for the feminine. And the feminine's really had it. The feminine wants directness. The feminine wants the masculine. I want you to shout it from the rooftops how you feel about me, and I want you to tell the freaking whole world how you feel. I want you to tell everyone who is important in your life how you feel about me and who I am to you. So the feminine wants some recognition here, and that's what she's really asking for. She's asking for recognition of this kindred partnership in the physical. And the masculine, again, is admitting to himself or coming to the realization, the very stark realization that this isn't over. So Spirit, tell me more about this unfinished symphony. Tell me more about this unfinished symphony. What an interesting reading. Oh, guys, this is really crazy. I'm so glad I decided to do this reading, even though I feel like shit. Unfinished symphony, true love. He's realizing that you are this mirror to him, this soul mirror, and that yes, you've reflected back a lot of painful things, and you've reflected back things that have brought him to his knees. You've made him cry. You've brought him, you know, the things that you've done or said have brought him pain. The separation has caused him immense pain. Guys, you have to remember that if you're feeling the pain and the longing and the misery and the pain of separation, the pain of being apart, the pain of what was said or what was spoken or what was unspoken, what hasn't been said, right? The haunting of your counterpart, they're feeling it too, okay? They're feeling it too. You have to remember you are that deeply entrenched and connected in each other's energy. You are each other. So, wow, this is wild. So the masculine, I mean, to clarify unfinished symphony, we have true love. So the masculine is realizing that this is true love, and true love doesn't die. It doesn't flicker. It doesn't go out. And I think that's, you know, I've had people ask me, lots of people actually over the several years, how do you know if this is a true twin flame connection? And it's hard to answer that, but one of the ways in which you know is you feel it, and this is inescapable. This is not like a soulmate connection that you move on from. You mourn and you grieve and you might miss them, but you move on from it eventually. There is no moving on from your twin flame. So when people say I'm moving on, I'm like, good luck. That's either not your real twin flame, it's a soulmate, or you think you're moving on and it's just going to cause more longing and more intensity. You cannot move on from this person. You share a soul in two separate bodies. And you're making the rounds on earth in two separate bodies, but you're that deeply connected. So when someone says that, it's like you can't move on. It's impossible. The masculine is also finding true love within himself. This is part of his journey right now. The feminine has gone on this journey of, you know, discovering self-love and finding self-love within herself and really honoring herself, creating that deeper levels of self-awareness and really honoring herself. So the masculine is learning to honor himself and who he is and everything he brings to the table, because the partnerships he's been in the past have not been fulfilling. They have not been respectful of who he is. And in fact, they have made him feel like less of a man or less of a woman and less than and not enough. And whereas the feminine energy tends to feel like she's too much, the masculine energy tends to feel in karmic relationships like they're not enough. And the feminine energy says, I accept you as you are, masculine. I don't want you to change. I want you to be healthy and I want you to take care of yourself, but I don't want you to change. So I'm getting a message that's coming through also. If you have a masculine who had addictions, which many of them did, addictions, workaholic, addiction to alcohol, addiction to drugs, addiction to gambling, addiction to sex, addiction to needing attention, right, from other people, whatever it might be, addiction to just working, workaholism. The masculine energy, through this self-love and through this realization of who you are and what this is and how much you love them, they want to be healthy, not just for you, but for themselves. And they want to get clean. So there's sobriety that's coming through. There's definitely sobriety message that's coming through. Okay, so let's go back to the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Spirit, tell me more about this sobriety. So the masculines are asking themselves, why? What is my why? And as you discover your why on this journey, there's no need for you to hide from yourself, okay? There's no need anymore for the masculines. Like, why did I turn to that substance or that person or that path? So they're really, really going deep into this questioning, why did I have that addiction? And they're being honest with themselves that yes, it was an addiction. They're also realizing the preciousness of time and that this feeling like time is running out to get back to their true love. They really are. They're really like, why would I ruin this just over a substance? Why would I want to, you know, the reason why they had these addictions before, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons in the 3D was they were covering up their true feelings and they were miserable in the lives that they had created, but they were trying to pretend they were living an inauthentic life. And this causes you to feel miserable and it causes you to need to turn to a substance so that you don't actually feel your feelings. So they were numbing themselves out and they don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to run out of time. They're realizing the preciousness of time and realizing, wait, I could have more time with my feminine and be more present in my life. So let's check in with the feminine energy. How does the feminine feel about all of this? Feminine's a little quiet over here. How does the feminine feel about all of this? Yeah, look behind a mask. She goes, what is your intention, masculine? I want to know what your intention is. Because for a long time, you've worn this mask. I mean, even in my last interaction with my masculine, he was still wearing a mask. He was pretending to be absolutely like life was perfect, life was good. I'm going skiing all next week. Everything's great. You know, I freed myself from my situation. Everything's great. How can it be great if you're denying yourself the true love of your life and you're trying to push down your feelings and you're trying to lie to my face? And that's what the masculines have done. So there again was still the ego that needed to be dismantled, really dismantled. So the feminine is like, look, I need you to be honest with yourself, and I'm no longer game for the games, right? I'm no longer going to put up with, I'm no longer interested in playing games with you. That's what I really see here. That's what I really feel here. The feminine's like, look, I mean, I have been honest with you. I have let down my guard, and now it's time. I really feel like the feminines are feeling like now it's time for the masculine to let down their guard. So I just want to look in the book here and see intentions. Where's the intentions? There we go. Intention. A woman wears an elegant mask that covers the top half of her face. It hides her identity beautifully. Even her friends won't be able to recognize her. This card reveals an important conflict in your intentions. You have times when your view of yourself is so depleted, you believe you must hide who you are and pretend to be someone you're not. This gets you into a whole lot of mental messes, masculine. You compare yourself to others, always competing and often losing in your own mind. It's absolutely impossible to attract your real desires if you never allow yourself to be the real you. This is what the masculine's realizing is, I can't attract the real, true, divine feminine if I'm not being authentic and if I'm not true to myself. She will be repelled by this mask that I'm wearing. So the feminine is saying to the masculine, I'm done. I'm done with the mask. I'm done with the inauthenticity. I'm done with the lies. I'm done with the deception. And I'm not even talking about the lies as in they were trying to hurt you, because your true divine counterpart doesn't want to ever hurt you. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from my masculine. It doesn't mean they don't, okay? And they need to take responsibility for the actions that they have taken, as does the feminine. It doesn't mean they haven't hurt you or they won't hurt you. It just means they never wanted to. They were blind, they were acting from ego, and they were acting from a place of inauthenticity. So when you're not yourself, you can't have authentic relationships. This card is telling you that you can and must shed this false condemnation of yourself, no matter how deep this pattern is. Choose to relax and let the mask go. Open up to Spirit's light within and around you and be yourself. When you accept yourself as you are, no matter what anyone else may think, you will feel completely liberated, perhaps for the first time in your life. That is absolutely what's happening with a masculine. So the feminine's just saying, this is one of my boundaries. You may not come in with that mask. You may not step foot over that door. You know, it's kind of like if you guys watch that show, True Blood, and if you didn't, who are you? Are you even alive? Anna Paquin, Stephen Moyer, oh my gosh, the delicious, sorry, my beloved, the delicious, Skarsgård. Is it Alex? No. Anyway, Skarsgård. Maybe it is Alex. I don't know. Anyway, handsome, tall vampire. So it was a show about vampires and the supernatural, which of course, Scorpio sun here. I'm like, hello, devoured that show. Another great one was 6 Feet Under, by the way, if you guys are looking for good shows. Okay, I digress. So there was a scene where Sookie was the main character, and she rescinded the offer to Bill, who was the vampire, who was actually her husband in real life. She rescinded the offer to him to come into her house. That's what the feminine has done, in essence. The feminine has rescinded the offer to the masculine, saying, you may not enter this house if you are wearing that mask. You need to take that off. It's like just like taking your shoes off at the door. Take your shoes off, take your mask off. You need to come in to me showing your true self once and for all. That's because the feminine is authentically herself now. The feminine has battled the same demons the masculine is battling right now, the same ego, death. She's gone through it all. So she knows and she sees, and she's over here. She's patiently, waiting peacefully, creating peace in her own life, while the masculine figures out, oh my God, this is eternal. This is eternal love. This is true love. This is never actually over. What is my why? And time, yes, time is running out in the physical world. Of course, time is an illusion, but his physical self is like, holy shit, I have to do this. I have to figure this out. Look what's on the bottom of the deck. I was told to look by my guides, and I see soulmates. This is crazy. This reading is bonkers. This reading is crazy. So we have soulmates. Yeah. So the feminine's like, when are you going to realize and recognize and tell me and speak this out loud that we are soulmates? When are you going to be honest with yourself about who I am to you and what I am to you? The feminine is really tired of the games because, a healed divine feminine, an unhealed feminine is codependent, will put up with a bunch of shit from other people, especially from men or, especially from a partner. The feminine energy will tolerate a lot, and she will not put herself first. She will not speak up for her needs and what she needs in a relationship. She will let people walk all over her, and she will appear weak. She will appear clingy and needy. The healed feminine is independent, is free. She's freed herself from those egoic beliefs, these egoic belief systems about who she is and what she is. She knows who she is, and she stands on her throne. She doesn't stand there egoically. She stands there knowing that she's earned this spot on this throne as the queen. So she comes in as the queen, and she's willing to offer her masculine the whole world. She's willing to offer him unconditional love, acceptance, his divine, true love. She's willing to offer him the life that he's always dreamed of, the partnership that he's always dreamed of, with honesty and integrity and loyalty and the depth that the masculine needs. Because that's something the masculine hasn't really been honest with himself about, is that he needs a partner who's deep. The partners he's been with in the past, it's been superficial. It's based on looks, sadly. It's based on money. It's based on appearance's sake, keeping up with the Joneses. It has not been based on real love and real partnership, real affection, real devotion, real acceptance, real respect. It hasn't been based on any of that. So the masculine is like, he knows this is the person that can give me everything. He knows that if he goes to anyone else or anything else, he's just settling, and he's already settled. So why would he settle again? Why would he do that to himself again? This is his true partner. This is his mate. Anything else, honestly, at this point, guys, is going to just, it's not going to be pretty for the masculine. They try to fit that square peg in the round hole. It's going to turn on them. Okay. It's kind of like a frisbee that comes back and it's too windy and it goes in the opposite direction that you want it. That's what's going to happen. It's going to derail everything. It's going to derail his abundance. It's just going to masculines. Spirit, tell me about the masculines who try to ignore, just for a second, who try to ignore this connection. Tell me about that energy. The masculines who are trying to ignore this connection. The stubborn ones. Okay. Loss, first and foremost. The masculines who try to ignore this connection, the masculines who are trying to stay in their ego and no, I don't need her. They're going to feel the loss. They're going to feel the pain, immense loss like they've never felt before. Masculines, this is not a good idea. Don't do this. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your feminine. You're hurting other people by not listening to their guides, by listening and choosing to listen to their family and friends. Now, this could also mean family and friends on the other side are hello, directing and guiding the masculines. What in the hell are you doing? You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong direction. But this could also mean that they've listened to family and friends in their life, their 3D life, over their guides, and that has caused them to feel immense pain. Tell me more about this, Spirit, because there is a segment of the masculines. And even the ones who are doing this healing work, this is what they're fighting, guys. This is what they're fighting. They're fighting this egoic desire to try to somehow outsmart this connection. It's going to cause chaos and conflict. It's not, and you know why? Look, it's going to cause chaos and conflict because they have a loyal heart. They have a devoted one who's waiting for them. It's going to cause conflict in the connection. Divine masculines, this is not advisable. This is not advised right now. It's never advised. It's definitely not advised right now. You have somebody who's loyal. You have somebody who unconditionally accepts and loves you. It's time to act right. It's time to think right. It's time to show your feminine that you are ready and that you know what this connection is. It's go time. It's go time. Yeah. The masculines who are choosing to, or their ego is, they're trying to sort of tune out this connection, go a different direction. They're deceiving themselves. They're deceiving their feminine. This is a deception I was talking about, causing chaos and conflict, causing loss in their lives. It's not a pretty picture. Now, Spirit, tell me about the masculines who are overcoming this ego. Tell me about what happens when the masculine overcomes this ego. Well, they trust. They're trusting in life again, and they're being invited to come to the edge and to take that risk. And look at all the hearts. This is an open heart. This is someone who's like, you know what? Let's take a minute. Take a minute to look at this. This is actually, I want to see what it says about this card. The masculines who are choosing to overcome the ego, okay? Not to let the ego overrun them, they're going to have a breakthrough. Courage, taking a leap of faith. Yeah, overcoming fear, accepting risk, right? Facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. Masculines, if you want to move forward, you're going to have to take this risk without knowing what's on the other side. In fact, without knowing if your feminine is still on the other side. This is how it has to be. This is just exactly how it had to be orchestrated. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. So masculines, if you're listening, I know it feels like this is tough love, but this needs to be said. You are called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul, not your head. Come to the edge and discover that you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so that you may find your miracles. It's scary to be truly intimate with someone masculines. To allow him or her to see all of you, especially the parts that you've kept hidden and protected. Now is a time to take that risk and let yourself be seen, truly seen. This is it, masculines. Take off the mask. Your soulmate is waiting for you. Time. It's time. It's important that you speak up, voice what you need, state who you are, say what you hope for. This is not the time to play it safe, but to take a leap of faith. You will be glad you did. If you're seeking a relationship, the same applies. Wow. Okay, so tell me about, for these masculines who are coming to the edge, who are taking that leap of faith and taking that risk, tell me about the feminine's reaction. This is turning into a really interesting. Look, as masculine as you take this leap of faith, look how this transforms your feminine. She's going to turn around. This is receptive energy. She's receiving you beautifully, gracefully. She's going to turn herself around and offer that peace into your connection. This is so fucking beautiful. So for the masculines who do choose to take that leap of faith, just know that your feminine is on the other side. This is also for your inner masculine. So whatever you're afraid to do, feminines, you're afraid to take this leap of faith, your inner masculine, he's safe. He's protected by your feminine. This is such a beautiful energy. This says, I want to nourish. I want to take care of you. I want to love you. I'm here for you. And I'm surrendered to this connection. I just need you to take that leap of faith so that I can step back into my feminine energy. Tell me more, Spirit, about how these feminines will react when the masculine takes that leap of faith without the mask, removing the mask, acting from a higher vantage point instead of from the ego. The feminine is going to let go of the past. The feminine is willing to let go. It's like let go or be dragged. She's going to let go. She says, I want to start fresh. I want to look, this is the past. This is the new. This is the future. This is what I want to walk towards with you. I don't want to be dragged anymore back into the past. I don't want to even have those conversations. I just want to move forward with love and with respect and with admiration and devotion to this connection and to each other. Like I'm ready for this. I don't want to, like the feminine says, I don't want to continue to just go over the past again and again and again. I'm tired of that. I'm exhausted. So tell me about these connections. Tell me about the union energy. Tell me about the union energy for, if this reading resonates, for those people this reading resonates for, tell me about the union energy coming in. Tell me about the union energy. Interesting. Okay, so we have some interesting energies. First of all, we have regeneration. So there's a regeneration occurring in these connections. So for the masculine, for the feminine who opens up to the masculine, who takes the mask off, removing the mask, coming forward authentically and trusting and taking that leap of faith and opening. This is about opening your mouth in the physical masculines. This is about coming forward to your feminine. This is about being honest and true about your feelings, about this connection, and about the revelations you've had along the way that you've been keeping secret from the feminine. Now, we also have orphaned and fragmented energy. So let me sit with this for a minute. Since we had regeneration pop out, the feeling that I get is for the feminine who felt orphaned, you actually both felt orphaned and abandoned by the other. This is about healing abandonment issues. Feeling kind of abandoned by life, abandoned by God, abandoned by your twin, abandoned by everything and everyone. There's going to be a regeneration of your beliefs. And this is within the connection, your relationship with God or your higher power, your relationship with yourself, your relationship to your partner. And then fragmented energy comes in to say this is about reclaiming your soul fragments. So what's going to happen is as this connection regenerates and as you create this new branch, it's new growth, healing and new growth. This is not, remember, about going back into the past, stepping into this new door, this new path, this brand new portal that's opening, which it is opening for the connections here. This fragmented energy is going to be pieced together and healed. So it's like you are the missing pieces for each other, and that's what allows the regeneration to happen. So this fragmented energy will no longer be. It will be completed energy. It will be the missing. It's like you two are recognizing, okay, you are the loyal heart. You are the missing puzzle piece. And there's a reason why nobody else has fit feminines and masculines. I remember saying in the past, I don't know, I couldn't find the one. I was always searching for the one. And I said, I'll know it when I feel it. And everyone else said, oh, you just know it. You get a feeling. And I'm like, no, haven't had that feeling. And then you meet your counterpart and you're like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it. This is that feeling. And it actually does exist. But it's different than the way people described it, because most people were describing a soulmate. And the soulmate is blissful and easy and peaceful, and you don't have necessarily these obstacles, especially if it's a higher level soulmate connection. You've already obliterated the karma and you just came in to be peacefully wedded and peacefully united. Twins are here with a much more complicated mission for the planet, for the earth. So we come in and we are instructed to go through certain trials and tribulations. We go through the hero's journey. So this energy is fragmented right now, but it will be regenerated when you come together with your counterpart. Okay? What a really fascinating reading. This is telling a beautiful story. I'm so glad I chose these decks. All right, Spirit. So tell me more about what's coming up here in the near future. Near future for these counterparts coming into this reunion energy. Well, there's a higher power that's going to assist you both for walking through or choosing the right pathway, because we have a fork in the road. But the higher power is observing, and really the higher power is, I don't want to say controlling or in control, but the higher power is looking after the choices that the counterparts are making, right? So you have these choices, and it's like, well, which way do we go? There are choices, which way? And the higher power says, I will direct you, I will guide you. So listen for your higher power, divine feminines, divine masculines watching, because it may be challenging for you to see. I feel like there's going to be some illusions that come up. So it may be challenging to see which is the correct way to go, or like sometimes you come towards union and then something happens and there's some sort of an obstacle or another illusion created in the physical, and it takes you back into separation. So there might be a little tug of war back and forth for some of you, but for some of us, we've already gone through that and we're ready to go through the door and through that portal, just going directly into reunion. So I feel like there's a couple of different stories playing out here. Okay, Spirit, tell me more about this fork in the road. Tell me more about this fork in the road. Well, we have commitment. Didn't actually pop out, but it did flip over, and I was directed and guided to look at it. The fork in the road is going to be, how committed are you? Are you both ready to make this commitment to this connection and to each other? Are you really ready for this commitment? Because there's no going back from this commitment. There's no going back at this point in the journey. We're too far along in our ascension process on the planet. I'm going to put this right over loss on the planet, and just individually and our own missions. So that's the question really, is how committed are you both to your own growth as a couple, as a couple united, and as a pair, as a partnership, as a connection. Tell me, let's get masculine energy. Yeah, the masculine energy is going to be, okay, no more wearing the mask. The masculine energy is going through this. Remember, this is the Scorpio energy of death and rebirth. They're going through this transformation. Deep, deep, deep transformation. Deep. And then the feminine energy, angels of the four directions. Yeah, the feminine energy, and I felt this today. I actually sent a similar message to a feminine who's going through a significant shift right now and change. So prayers up for her. You have 10,000 angels that are on your side that are guiding you right now. And these angels want you to know your masculine is absolutely going through this transformation. They are absolutely realizing what you are, who you are to them, what you are, what they are, and who they are to you. They're having these sudden epiphanies and revelations and realizations, and it's hitting them like a ton of bricks because of the way they've acted or treated you in the past, or even treated the connection like it wasn't special. And even if they acknowledge that it was special, they still did things to push you away, and that really forced the feminine to walk away from them. So they're recognizing and coming to terms with all of this, but they have to forgive themselves, they have to forgive you, but forgive themselves first and foremost. And then they have to be willing to really make this commitment. So feminines, you're being guided. Check in with your team, your angelic team. Masculines are transforming. There's a ton of energy. So guys, you may want to go back and rewatch this video, because I truly feel like this was a special reading. And there was just so much in this reading that was completely unexpected. It's like I was told to sit down, do a reading, get out these 2 decks of cards, which I really never use, and then look at everything that came out. And we basically got every soulmate card in the deck for these 2 decks. So it's very, very clear now what is happening, what is occurring behind the scenes. So step out of the illusion that there's nothing happened. Step out of the illusion that you've been abandoned, and really step into your power, feminines, because so much is changing and shifting. I love you guys all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Please share, please give a like, please share the video, and this will help people who need to see the video actually be able to view the video and find it on YouTube. Please come over to Patreon, give me some support there. And I'm about booked up for personal readings in May, but if I open more, I'll let you know. Take great care, guys.